All right, guys, we are back with another video. We're going to talk about what the heck just happened. Last Saturday, UFC 321. The whole eye-poking situation is just crazy, and it's kind of bringing a controversial and hot takes on the MMA community. People being quitters, people being cheats. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about it. So let's get straight into it. Before we get into the video, again, guys, make sure you like and subscribe, comment on the video. And yeah, let's just talk about this whole mess that just happened. All right. So going into the fight, people were writing Ciryl Gane off, saying, look what Jon Jones did to him in less than under like 2 minutes. Now, people are saying Tom Aspinall is the reason why Jon Jones retired, because he's scared. He's younger. He doesn't want to get his legacy, quote unquote, destroyed. So people were putting high expectation on Tom Aspinall, trying to at least make him, or trying to at least have the expectation that he's gonna do better than what Jon Jones did, or give him the pressure of having to do that. So everyone was writing Ciryl Gane off, saying that he's only a striker. He's not as well-rounded. He doesn't have good takedown defense. He doesn't have the necessary skills to compete with Tom Aspinall. Now, going into the fight, Ciryl Gane looked probably in the best condition that he has ever looked in any fights that he was going in. He looked more trimmed down. He looked more in shape. He looked ripped, but he looked more focused than he usually is compared to all the other fights. More, he's like laughing, happy to be there. But in this one, it was different because, number one, this is his third title fight, and if he lost this one, it would have been wraps. How would you try to make a case of competing for the title again? Anyways, going into the fight, personally, I didn't know who would win because, yes, Tom Aspinall is a very well-rounded fighter. I wanted to see how he would go into the later rounds because Ciryl Gane has been into 5-round fights before. Tom Aspinall hasn't seen a second round. So I wanted to see how he would deal with this situation. Guys who are a similar size, similar speed, hand speed, footwork. Yes, you can give the wrestling edge to Tom, but I just wanted to see how it would go. Now, I did think Tom Aspinall would probably get it done, but I wouldn't think he would get it done quickly. But let's just talk about what the heck actually happened. So going into the fight, it was pretty well evened. Now, looking back at it, you can get the people's perspective of how people are thinking, wow, Ciryl Gane was destroying Tom Aspinall. And then you'll have the Tom Aspinall fans saying, well, Ciryl Gane's a dirty fighter. He shouldn't have done anything that he've done. Anyways, when you break down the actual rounds, it wasn't as one-sided as most people thought it would be. People would think it would be like it was just a complete domination from Ciryl Gane. Yes, he probably landed 5 at most more strikes, significant strikes than Tom, but it was pretty well rounded. Ciryl Gane, yes, was peppering him with the stiff jabs. Tom Aspinall was mixing it up a bit more, throwing low kicks, throwing body kicks, occasionally throwing the 1-2, landing on Ciryl Gane, but Ciryl Gane ate it and started circling around, which I felt like was necessary because Tom Aspinall usually isn't a fighter that's like, he's more like just straight in and out, go forward, then come back off on the angles. But what Ciryl Gane did well was when Tom went to go straight in, he circled out while he was doing it. And Tom Aspinall, I guess, was trying to get the read of it afterwards during the round. But it was a pretty even round. It wasn't one-sided as most people are saying. It wasn't a complete domination, but I thought it was pretty even. And I actually did see Ciryl Gane having better of the exchanges. He did stuff a takedown. He stuffed a takedown that people were trying to figure out. How would he do in the wrestling department or the grappling department? Because before, he had a lackluster performance against Volkov, and he won slightly, which you could have actually given it to Volkov. But then the performance before that against Jon Jones got taken down in 2 minutes and submitted. So we were just trying to figure out what the heck his wrestling defense would be. And the minute when Tom Aspinall shot, he immediately sprawled and just stuffed it, which I thought was really interesting, which was going to make for a really good fight. So you see Tom, he's all bloodied up. Ciryl Gane is hitting him with jabs. hitting him with some body shots, some low kicks. Still a pretty even round. But then the controversy hits. So Ciryl Gane is trying to throw a body kick, and Tom Aspinall is trying to usually do what he does, is blitz his way in with some hand combos. But I guess Ciryl Gane hesitated, tried to throw his left kick to the body, but then tried to frame out with his hand. And then the eye poke happens. Yes, the eye poke. One of the most occurring things has happened in MMA, but still one of those questions of how it can be fixed. And there are some solutions of how it can be fixed. So we get to the eye poke, and then you see the eye poke, both fingers in the eyes. And yeah, it's bad. It actually is bad. So then Tom is basically saying, I can't see. I actually can't see. Now Jason Herzog is trying to give him all the time, saying, don't say that. Don't say you can't see, so they can continue the fight. But then after the 5 minutes of rest time hit, Tom is like, I still can't see. So they're like, you know what? Fine. They waved off the fight, made it a no contest. Now let's actually talk about what people are saying. People are saying that this was intentional, unintentional, yada, yada, yada. In my personal opinion, I don't think this was an intentional eye poke. I don't think it was intentional at all. First off, you have to see what the sequence was. You can see Ciryl Gane trying to use his hands to frame off Tom Aspinall to at least get into a better position and distance himself. It's not like he's trying to gouge his eyes out, because his hands are straight like that. It's not like he's like this going inwards. He's like this. He's trying to like frame off. Now, yes, it still was an eye poke, but in my opinion, I don't think it was intentional, because it was like all about what he was trying to do. And I think he was just trying to frame off. His hands just moved down, and then his fingers just eye poked him. It happens in the sport. It happens. It wasn't intentional. And to the people that are trying to say, oh, it was so intentional, it was on purpose, he didn't want Tom to get going, he didn't want Tom to get back in the fight, or trying to yada, 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 whatever. I don't think it was intentional. It happens all the time in the sport. It's unfortunate, but you can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to frame off, trying to get his distance, but the fingers goes in the eyes. Can't really do much about it. Now, on the opposite side, for the people that are saying, oh, Tom quit, it was getting hard for him, so he wanted to find a way out. Why was he saying he can't see, but the rag was just fully on his eye and he wasn't doing anything? I don't believe that either. I don't think he will quit as well. I can see where people are trying to make the excuse, but why would the heavyweight champ want to just find a way out? I don't think he would want to do that. I think he wanted to have a fair fight, trying to at least get all the rest that he can from that 5 minutes and see what happens. But again, it's fighting. He said he couldn't see, so people want to expect him to go into the fight blinded, one eye, and then potentially get slept. No. I think he just couldn't see out of his eye, and he didn't want to take the necessary risk of him potentially damaging himself. So I don't think he quit. Yes, he was bloodied up in the nose pretty badly. Yes, you could see him a bit mouth breathing because of the bloody nose, because I saw it. He wasn't taking heavy breaths, but he had to breathe through his mouth, which would make him even more difficult and probably potentially get him even more tired. But I don't think he quit. What I think happened was just an unexpected, unfortunate sequence of events that caused the no contest. Now, some people, again, are going to be saying that he quit. Ciryl Gane is a dirty fighter. No, the only question is, what happens now? What do we do now? What do we do? And the easy answer is book it again, run it back, because we didn't get a definitive answer. We were just getting into a really good fight. Seemed evenly matched. Ciryl Gane, again, my opinion, he was up in the round. He was winning the round. Wasn't a giant stretch of domination, but he was winning the round. And that's what I thought. So I think rebook it. Rebook it as soon as possible so that we can have a definitive answer of who's better. Because the underestimation of Ciryl Gane, but then him doing better, makes it for an interesting rematch. And then Tom Aspinall coming back for the second fight from an injury, as we've seen him do previously against Curtis Blades, through his knee injury, got injured, came back, destroyed Curtis Blades. Now it makes it for an even more exciting fight than it was for this one, because we weren't getting that much hype. There was no hype at all. The only like interesting thing about this was, can Tom Aspinall do better than John Jones did against Ciryl Gane? Didn't happen, but it made even more interesting because of how evenly matched the first round was. And yes, I picked Tom Aspinall to win, but now I want to see the rematch even more, because now I actually don't know who will win. Of course, you can still favor Tom because he's more well-rounded, but then you see Ciryl Gane just stuff the takedowns. So I don't know, a controversial ending to what seemed to be probably a pretty good fight on Saturday. Now what happens next, I'd say run it back, but I actually don't know what will happen. I don't know what the UFC has planned for it, but I think they'll run it back, and then the winner can fight Alex Pereira or John Jones at the White House, which would make an extraordinary amount of money, extraordinary amount of sales, and probably one of the best moments in UFC, potentially in UFC history. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, what happens next with these guys? I have no idea. We did see that Tom Aspinall wants to go into boxing. He says he has 2 more fights left on his contract. That's crazy. He has 2 more fights left in his contract, and now he's saying he wants to go to boxing. So I think that they would want to book this fight in pretty soon, and UFC probably wants Ciryl Gane to win so that they can be like, okay, Tom, yeah, do whatever negotiation processes, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did Tom Aspinall quit? Is Ciryl Gane a cheat? Or was this just a case of shit happens, very unfortunate events? Let me know what you guys know. This has been your boy Matt. Thank you for watching the video. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.